Hi, I'm Joann Muller. I'm the transportation correspondent for Axios. I write a weekly newsletter called Axios Navigate. And one of the things I cover a lot is self-driving cars. Well, we hear a lot about them all the time in the news, but we're still waiting for them to arrive. But the important thing is there's a lot going on in the world of autonomy that's beyond the robo-taxi. And that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about what technologies are being deployed now and in the future that are going to make work easier and will also move people and goods a little bit more efficiently. So I'm really delighted today by the diverse panel that we've gathered together. Let me introduce each of them one by one. We have Lia Theodosiou-Pisanelli. She is the head of partner products and programs for Aurora, self-driving company, forgive me. We also have Karl Weiss. He is the chief technology officer at Caterpillar. And then we have Sara Luchian. She is the director of passenger experience for Virgin Hyperloop. Welcome to all of you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I'd love to hear you tell our audience a little bit about what each of your companies are doing in the field of autonomy. So Lia, let's start with you. Let's hear a little bit about Aurora. I know you've been in the news not long ago. Aurora just bought the self-driving business from Uber. Let's hear a little bit else about what's going on.
Sure, thanks. And thanks for having me. It's great to be here with all of you today. So as you mentioned, Aurora is a technology company. We're building what we call the Aurora Driver, which can operate cars and trucks for the purposes of moving both goods and people autonomously. In talking about what it is that we're doing, I find it's helpful to talk about our mission, which is to deliver the benefits of self-driving safely, quickly, and broadly. So from a safely perspective, one recent unlock we've had is acquiring a technology called frequency modulated continuous wave LiDAR. That's a long way of saying a sensor on a vehicle that can see very far away with a very high fidelity, and not just see things far away, but we can see the speed at which they're moving, which you can imagine is a very helpful thing when you're going down a highway, operating a Class 8 truck with tens of thousands of pounds of cargo in a trailer behind you. So that's one piece. The second is quickly. So we talk about trucks, we talk about commercial goods, we talk about people. The important thing I would say is that our first path to market is a commercial trucking product. There are so many things we want to do with this technology, and we recognize all of the benefits, but you have to focus somewhere, right? So starting out by focusing in the trucking space, there are a number of reasons why that is the first path to market, both from a technical complexity, but also a business opportunity. Now, broadly, you mentioned we did just announce our intention to acquire Uber's Advanced Technology Group, so ATG. Thrilled about that, and that's going to help us get this technology out broadly. So we'll be able to operate trucks in a commercial delivery capacity. The technology also applies to local delivery, but passenger mobility is still a very important opportunity for this. So with the acquisition of ATG, we will, it's really a transformative deal for us. It's additional technology, it's additional talent, and it's a strategic relationship with Uber. We'll have Dara on our board, which we're really thrilled about, and we'll have an opportunity to make sure we know that we're building the right product. So that's what we're focused on at a high level, and looking forward to talking about more with each of you.
Great. Thank you. So, Karl, I'd love to hear about Caterpillar, because I think this is an area that people might not think of autonomy. But in fact, autonomous mining trucks have been doing work for a while, right? I'd love to hear about that and the other areas where you think autonomy can work in the work machine space.
Yeah, that's right, Joann. Thank you, and it's great to be here with you today. Caterpillar is the world leader in providing mining and construction equipment, as well as energy and transportation solutions. And we see automation as the next exciting step for us toward our vision of providing solutions that help our customers build a better world. Caterpillar's invested, as you said, in an automation development for more than 30 years. And over that period, we've built a significant expertise within our organization, especially around making technology work and live in mining and construction environments, which aren't the most friendly applications. DARPA was a key enabler for this journey. And as the DARPA challenges commenced, Caterpillar embedded engineers with the teams, and this gave us experience in the challenges to automate a vehicle. And we launched Command for Hauling in the mining business back in around 2008 as the DARPA Urban Challenge was concluding. And this allowed us to work with universities such as Carnegie Mellon, who won the Urban Challenge, to complement our capabilities. And today, Caterpillar's mining equipment leads the industry in hauling systems. Every day, our fleet of autonomous hauling trucks do the equivalent kilometers of going around the Earth 2.5 times. So we're getting a lot of experience, more experience than any of the other autonomous providers in the market. So we're proud of what we've done, but we're even more proud of the zero injury record that we've brought to that autonomous fleet. So our solutions are being applied across mining, but we're also scaling those solutions to other parts of our business systematically, moving from the more repeatable mining systems to the much more dynamic solutions around construction, quarries, waste applications. And recently we acquired certain assets and hired the talent from Marble, which is a Valley company that has been working on the last mile delivery for urban environments. And so we're taking advantage of that expertise to bring it to those dynamic construction environments. And so we're very excited about the opportunity that brings us to grow Caterpillar's services business. And, it's true that those benefits will bring good for Caterpillar, but what really makes it happen and helps us be successful is what it brings to our customers. So I've already mentioned safety, but our customers have experienced 30% productivity improvements, and that's done through elimination of waste in their processes and making them more repeatable. And it also, with that reduction in waste, reduces the impact our customers have on their environment. And so it's been a real win. And Joann, it's really a lot of fun. Our Cat robotics engineers have the application knowledge to really help our customers be successful and really to help them make it all happen.
Well, it's all about efficiency, it sounds like, and I'm interested in hearing more about that. Let's jump over to Sara now. You are operating in a much different kind of environment and rather futuristic, it seems to me. Tell us about Virgin Hyperloop and this concept that was sort of, I believe, Elon Musk's idea at some point, and a lot of, not a lot, but several companies have taken off with it and are trying to turn it into a business. So tell us where Virgin Hyperloop stands and what's around the corner for you.
Great. Thank you so much, Joann, and thanks to all of you for joining me on the panel. I'm really excited to this discussion. So for those who may not know too much about Virgin Hyperloop or the Hyperloop technology itself, basically, it's a new mode of transportation that uses magnetic levitation to lift and propel vehicles, which we call pods, in a low pressure environment, basically a tube that's been brought down to near vacuum. And because of the lack of friction against a track, because of the lack of aerodynamic drag, and because of our use of automation, in addition to several other new technologies, we're able to achieve speeds of up to or over even 600 miles per hour. So it's a very fast, direct to destination and on demand. We really envision this as a mass transit solution, but it also has applications for cargo and the transportation of goods as well. So it's a hugely exciting new category to be in. And as you noted, Joann, this was basically just an idea. These were sketches on a piece of paper 6-7 years ago when they were popularized by Elon Musk in a white paper that he kind of released publicly. And of course, it absolutely ignited the public imagination, got a lot of people excited about the possibilities of what a Hyperloop could enable, and particularly what a networked Hyperloop world could be like. So ever since then, as you mentioned, there have been several companies who've kind of gotten into the mix, but it's really Virgin Hyperloop that has committed since that time, the last 6 years, so much of its resources, money, time, talent, to actually bringing this technology to a deployable level of development. So I've been with the company for several years and originally joined as part of the business strategy group, and have more recently stood up and lead the passenger experience function. Much to my own surprise, I had the great honor of being one of the very first passengers on the Hyperloop system just a month ago in November. So that to me has been such an amazing and unanticipated benefit of the role, and such a testament to the hard work of the company that what was once just an idea, just a handful of years ago, is something that is already passenger bearing. So, of course, I'm really excited to talk more about how all of these different modes and applications of automation can work together and be integrated, and what kind of that ecosystem of mobility will look like going forward. So thanks again for the opportunity.
Well, before I let you go, you have to tell us what it was like to be in the Hyperloop and moving at a high rate of speed. Do you feel queasy? Is there anything strange about it?
No, it was such a thrill. I have to say, I think if I felt any nerves at all, it was around my understanding of the magnitude of the moment and the realization that we were potentially about to make history, which I believe we did. But from a comfort perspective, it was surprisingly smooth and quieter than I was expecting. As far as queasiness goes, it's not just qualitative, right? You get motion sickness because of the way that you're being moved. And Hyperloop has the advantage of a lot of control over the environment. We're not a plane that's got the turbulence of this vast outside environment. We can control that environment and predict and measure a lot of the sort of the accelerations and lateral movements that we're subject to. So I actually found it more comfortable even than all of those projections led me to anticipate. But yeah, hopefully you'll all be able to join me on a ride in just a few years.
Sign me up. Okay. All right. Well, I wanted to talk a little bit about, this incredible year that we've been through. The pandemic has changed our lives in so many ways. And I'm wondering how it changed your own business strategies, your own approaches to what it is that you're doing. Lia, why don't I start with you and tell us, if the pandemic had an impact, and if it did, what that was.
Yeah, sure. It's hard to have a conversation without talking about that. So I think about the impact in three ways. One is the people, right? It's hard to say this has impacted everyone personally, and if not personally, someone they know personally, right? So it's been a moment, we're a company that was established with a values first approach, and it's been a real opportunity to demonstrate that to the company. One of our values is win together, and that used to be just about developing and deploying technology, and it's actually turned out to be an approach in how we're there for each other and figuring things out and making the best of the situation we're in. So that's a big one, right? From an operations perspective, we have this incredible virtual testing suite, which we did not design with the pandemic in mind. We designed it because that's a good way to develop technology. And one of the benefits of starting this autonomous vehicles development in the last few years is that we could take advantage of the advent of, additional compute power and things of that nature that we couldn't as things started, for example, in the DARPA Grand Challenge days. So really starting the company with a foundational approach of a lot of simulation and virtual test set us up for success this year for people to do a lot of work and development from home. So that was one. The other is we have a number of vehicle operators who aren't on the road, right? Whether it's California closing down or reducing the number of people that we can have operating at a certain period of time. So we've been doing a lot of cross-training. So providing all of our drivers are employees. So providing them opportunities to continue to contribute to our development in a different way, whether that's, labeling certain data or just a number of different skills and tasks that they can do from home. So that's been really interesting from a workforce development perspective. And then the last business opportunity, honestly, this pandemic has only emphasized how big of an opportunity there is in particularly with the boon to e-commerce. Goods are moving. Goods are going to keep moving. I think what we are seeing is that's only going to increase over time. Even with the vaccine and things getting better, I think we're still going to see a big opportunity there. The last thing I'd say is CTA did a survey not too long ago, and the findings were pretty interesting for us in that 26% of people polled actually had a more favorable view of autonomous technology than they did before the pandemic. So those are the big areas that it's impacted us. It's a good question.
Karl, I think the thing is that this pandemic actually accelerates a lot of trends that were probably going to happen anyways. Have you seen that in your business too?
Yeah, we have. We've seen several parts of what we've been trying to build accelerate. First, when it comes to our customers' demand, it's shifted a bit toward more remote working capability. So for a software engineer, remote working is not a big deal. It can be an advantage in certain ways, but if you operate a machine, remote working is a real challenge. And so it's accelerated the use of our remote workstations where first we enable an operator to use one machine remotely. And then as he or she gets used to that, to be able to take on 2-3 machines at once with some of the semi-automatic features that we have going. And it's allowed our customers to be able to take advantage of that. And one of the reasons that was important is with COVID, some of their workforce was quarantined and couldn't operate, and they still had work to do. Most of our customers were deemed essential workers and had jobs to do, and this enabled them to do more with the folks that they had at the time. So it did accelerate that. Similar to what was said already, we also had a transformation internally as more of us did remote work. We also focused more on how to do more automation of the work within our own four walls with testing and streamlining the process. And then finally, I would say that it taught us a lot about communication. As we did our employee insight surveys this year, our survey results improved over last year during the remote working. And I think it was due to the fact that we really made a very purposeful approach to how we communicated, how we cared for each other, and paying attention to mental health and some of the challenges that our own team faced. So while it created challenges, working through them and doing it in a very purposeful way, I think made us even stronger and made our relationship with our customers stronger.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Sara, we're going to move along because we want to make sure we get as many questions in as we can. I have a question about Hyperloop that I'm hoping you can help me get my head around. I think about the fact that mass transit moves large numbers of people, and Hyperloop doesn't seem to fit as many people into it. And I'm curious what does Hyperloop do that makes transportation better than what we have available today?
Oh my gosh, Joann, how much time do we have?
9 minutes, and
I could speak about the relative benefits of Hyperloop compared to other modes at great length, but you make a great point about the mass transit question. Of course, when people look at the vehicles that we've presented, they see that they don't hold as many people as you might expect, particularly compared to existing modes of mass transportation. And what's exciting about this and relevant to this panel is that one of the reasons that we're able to achieve throughputs of thousands upon thousands of passengers per hour per direction in the Hyperloop is because first, because of the speed of the vehicles themselves, but second, because of the way that they can cluster together. And that's enabled by autonomous controls, right? When you take out the human element, the human conductor, you shed some of the concerns around latency, human latency of response, the ability to process information very quickly. That's all enabled by the autonomous controls, the sensors in the track and on the vehicles. And so, yeah, our vehicle of the future may only hold something like 20, 25 passengers, but you can cluster them together at very short headways and actually have them moving almost as if they were a train or a metro without any physical coupling and the ability to kind of take the turn and go to their own discrete destination if different from the rest of the group.
Mm-hmm. All right. So another topic I wanted to visit was jobs. And Karl, earlier you were talking about all the new efficiencies that to and Aurora, as you think about trucking in the future, what happens to those jobs that are displaced by automation? What new kinds of work, if there are, come about, and how do we make sure that everyone is employed?
Yeah, it's a good question and something we think about a lot. One of the things that I always like to reiterate in this topic is I don't see a world where all of a sudden we flip a switch and every vehicle is autonomous. That there's no way that's going to happen, right? It's going to have to be a slow and thoughtful transition, right? For a number of reasons, for safety reasons for sure, but also for to allow for time for people to be comfortable with this technology, and to find those efficiency opportunities and to figure out, what is the right way to roll things out. A huge piece of that is thinking about the future of our workforce and what are the implications. I wish I could say that my crystal ball is beautifully clear and I have a list of 15 new jobs new job types that are going to be created, and there are some pretty awesome organizations that have thought a lot about this. But what I will say is that it's something that is going to have to be a collective effort. All of us that are building the technology need to do it in a thoughtful way, need to roll it out in a thoughtful way, need to work with government, need to work with labor, need to work with all of the relevant stakeholders so that we're thinking about this big transition that will come to our workforce. One thing that I find encouraging is that even within kind of the microcosm of Aurora, I mentioned we have a number of vehicle operators, including a number of CDL drivers who are not just our CDL drivers, but they're advisors on the product that we're building. They have a huge impact in how we think about things, not just in the technology, but how we think about rolling it out. So I would just say, and we're also working with them to teach them about the technology, training them in different skill sets. We've seen a lot of our vehicle operators actually in the microcosm of Aurora end up having other jobs that aren't even related to operating vehicles because of opportunities for training and having access to different parts of the system. So I can't say that Aurora represents the entire world, but it's something we think about both at home within our company, but then as we think about deploying and working with others in that process.
Okay. We're running short on time. So Karl, if you could weigh in briefly on the jobs situation, because I think it's very interesting in construction and mining, what happens, and then we'll, I have a couple of wrap up quick questions.
Sure, Joann. Thanks. We try to focus on our customers' biggest problems. And right now, one of those is the shortage of skilled labor. And so our focus is really to help automate some of those processes. I talked about the remote stations. I was just talking to a gentleman that had worked many years in construction. He's over 60. He was going to retire, but when he got that role on the remote workstation, it extended his career because he enjoyed the work more. He physically could do it. So we're focused on helping our customers get more done with the skilled labor that they do have. And I think it's essential with all the infrastructure that we all needs to be completed, that we help them get that work done more productively with the folks that they have on their teams.
Well, that's an interesting point. Okay. All right, Sara, we are about to have a new president, and I'm wondering what policy changes you think will be important for your technology in particular, but autonomy in general to advance as Congress considers AV bills and Biden considers what his policies are going to be. The transportation secretary is yet to be known at this moment, but we will know very soon. So tell us what you're looking for in policy.
Sure. Well, I think one of the great things about being in this industry is actually that infrastructure and transportation tend to be very popular issues across the aisle. Right? Everyone can agree on how essential they are to the health of our nation, to the development of our economy, to the well-being of our citizens. And so I'm happy to say that at least as far as the Hyperloop goes, the U.S. has actually been taking the lead and establishing global regulations. So just a few months ago, the U.S. Department of Transportation and the Non-Traditional and Emerging Transportation Technology Council, the NET Council, unveiled a guidance document with clear regulatory framework for Hyperloop in the U.S. And so that provides a pathway for regulation of Hyperloop and deployment in the U.S., but also kind of gives the nudge globally and establishes our eligibility for federal funding for projects. So we're seeing a lot of really positive uptake. In West Virginia, we just announced our Hyperloop Certification Center, and that too got bipartisan support. So it's a very promising environment for us as an industry, and I think for autonomy more broadly. People see the benefit coming down the pike, so to speak, And I think that there will be a lot of support for it going forward. I could speak at greater length, but I recognize that we're running a little short on time. And I think these guys will probably have a view as well.
Well, we are. I wish we could talk more about this. We're so tight on time now. Either one of you like to jump in on policy desires going forward?
Well, I guess I would just add that at Caterpillar, our experience as the others, I'm sure, is that when private industry and our government are able to work together on those policies, that's when it works the best. And I'm sure that we'll have that opportunity.
All right, Lia, I see you nodding, but I think we're getting the hook. So I would like to say thank you so much. I think transportation has never been more interesting. And as a journalist, I love covering it. It's really a hot topic and very fascinating. So thank you all for joining us at CES. And we look forward to doing this in person again someday.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.